era, it's deja vu all over again. It's the 26th day of the shutdown, and for the 26th day in a row, Democrats are refusing to seriously engage with the president to get the government reopened. Democrats have spent a lot of time talking about their desire to get the hundreds of thousands of furloughed federal workers back to work, but their actions contradict their words. The only way for the government to reopen is for both sides to come to the table and compromise. But Democrats are absolutely refusing to consider any concession. Their position is my way or the highway. Unfortunately, that's not the way things work in the real world. When you have two groups with diametrically opposed positions, both sides have to give a little if they're ever going to get anything done. The White House has a strongly held position on this issue, but it has also made it clear that it's willing to be flexible and to negotiate with Democrats. But Democrats don't share that willingness, and their refusal to negotiate is victimizing the very workers that they claim that they want to protect. Senate Democrats' latest attempt to distract from Democrats' refusal to negotiate is to push for votes on House-passed legislation on reopening the government. But as Democrats know very well, these votes would be meaningless because this is not legislation that the president's going to sign. Indeed, before Christmas, the Democrat leader here in the Senate stated, and I quote, "The president must publicly support and say he will sign an agreement before it gets a vote in either chamber," end quote. That from the Democrat leader as recently as just a few weeks ago. Well, there's no point in spending time taking up a bill that hasn't received agreement from all parties. We know that, Mr. President, and the Democrats know that as well. But apparently, they're unwilling to flip-flop on this issue if they think, I should say they are willing to flip-flop on this issue if they think it will suit their political purposes. Kind of like how they were for a border fence before they were against it. That's right. In 2006, the Democrat leader and the ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee voted for legislation to authorize a border fence. They were joined in that vote by then Senator Biden, then Senator Clinton, then Senator Obama. In 2013, every Senate Democrat supported legislation requiring the completion of a 700-mile fence along our southern border. In 2009, the Democrat leader praised border fencing as a border security accomplishment. So what's changed, Mr. President? The need to secure our borders hasn't changed. The effectiveness of barriers hasn't changed. That's been well documented. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer was asked about the Democrats' flip-flop, whether there is any real difference between what they supported previously and what they're opposing now. Here's what he said, and I quote, "I don't have an answer that I think is a really good answer," end quote. Well, that's an honest reply, Mr. President. Democrats don't have a good answer because there is no real difference between what they supported a few years ago and what they're opposing now. Democrats have flip-flopped on this issue because they're afraid to oppose the radical far left wing of their party. And because they are committed to obstructing this president no matter what. This president, if Democrats weren't hurting anybody, their refusal to play ball wouldn't be a problem. But every single day that they refuse to engage in serious negotiations is a day that families aren't getting paid, national priorities aren't getting funded, and important border security is being postponed. That's where we are. Mr. President, I urge my colleagues to rethink their obstruction and to work with the President to get the government reopened and federal workers back to work and funding for that critical and important priority of ensuring that we have a secure southern border.